Hey there, I'm Diane Conklin with Complete Marketing Systems. Welcome to episode 4 of AntDiesDozen.com. Episode 4. Here we go. You ready? There's always an alternative way to do something. My nieces and nephews will sit around and for hours and try to get something done. Now, sometimes they lose patience. That's a whole other lesson, right? And that's not something we're going to talk about. But there's always an alternative way. They're always looking for another way, or moving this down and moving that up, or taking maybe they have the wrong little screwdriver for something, right? And looking for a different toy, looking for a different car, a different color, a different whatever, right? There's always an alternative way. We stop when something doesn't work. It's always an alternative. It's about problem solving, right? Kids are great problem solvers. Now, just like us, they want to have some success. So they're not going to sit for days and try to solve a problem without some frustration coming in, right? But they will look for ways before they ask for help. Most of the time, depending on their age, okay? But there's always a way to do something that we haven't looked at, or maybe it's not the most direct path. Maybe we just haven't thought about it yet. Why? Because we're so set in our ways by the time we own businesses, even if we start a business in our 20s, right? We're so set in our ways, we think we know the right answer, that this has to work. And so what do? We push harder. We hit it one more time with the hammer. We grind. All of those words, right? We try to crush it. Instead of taking a step back and looking at it and saying, I wonder what I could do differently. I wonder if there's a different tool I can use. Who can I ask for help? Somebody else out there has to be doing something similar, or using a similar tool, or have had this same challenge. There's always an alternative. You just have to be a good problem solver. You just have to be patient enough to look. For an alternative way. Because when you do that, when you look for an alternative way, and when you have some patience, most of the time the answer will appear. Sometimes it's just that you picked up the Phillips head screwdriver and you needed a flathead, and the flathead was laying right there beside the Phillips head. You just grabbed the wrong one. But we lose our logical brains and go into our animal brain of, see, nothing ever works for me. See, I can't do anything right. I know, you know what I'm talking about. We all do it. There's always an alternative. And so when we look for those alternatives, things get easier. Which means we can have more fun. Which means we can be in our place of joy and happiness. We just have to look. It's the old saying of, many times we forget to look. I say we forget to look down, but the one place in your body that you can't see is right here under your nose, right? That spot right there. Unless you look in the mirror, there's nothing you can do to see that one spot. And so many of us walk around in that spot, either hiding or looking for that spot, right? We walk around with blinders on. We're like the horse that they put blinders on. Well, they put the blinders on the horse so he's not distracted by other things, cars or other animals or people or whatever, right? I don't want you to be distracted either. I want you to be focused. But you also have to take the blinders off when a problem or a challenge arises, so that you can find an alternative way. If you keep the blinders on, That's why you get frustrated. That's why you get mad. That's why you give up. Because you forget that there's always an alternative way. So sometimes we have to take our focus hat off and pick up our problem solving hat and look for that alternative way to do things and make it fun. Make it a game. How many alternative ways? Now look, I get it. You're busy. I don't have time for that nonsense, right? Okay. Do it your way. Be mad and frustrated instead. It's up to you. But when I watch my nieces and nephews figure out and problem solve, I'm always proud of them, like I am my clients. Why? Because I see them growing as people. I see my clients growing as business owners when they look for and find these ulterior and alternate ways of doing things. Many times my clients will ask me a question and I will say to them, what do you think? Not because I'm not willing to give them an answer, but I want to see if they've thought about it. Have they problem solved? Have they looked for an alternative way? Or have they taken the easy way out and asking me? And now we can have a discussion about it, right? We can talk about it. We can problem solve it together. Because two minds are always better than one. Which is why I love the coaching and consulting environment, the mastermind environment so much. Because the one alternative that I might think of, somebody else will think of 2 or 3 others. And when you have a group of 4 or 5 people, now you've got a true mastermind coming in. Now you've got ideas and things are flowing again with all sorts of alternatives that just the 2 of us may not have thought about. There's always an alternative way to do things. Episode 4, AuntDiesDozen.com. Go get the rest of them. Go check it out. Go get the little PDF that we put together for you so you can put it up somewhere on your desk, put it in your wallet. I don't care what you do with it. But I think these are lessons that if we look at them every day and we remember them, gosh, our lives and businesses will be so much better. Let me know what you think. Let me know how I can help. Check it out. Go to AuntDiesDozen.com. We'll see you next time. Have a great day.